Squire of Hell. By Troy Maverick. Chapter 10.
Ahem, excuse me, nurse seamstress? There are wounded refugees down at the foyer who need your assistance. And right away, like right now.
The voice sounded forced and altered, maybe a little pitched. But still, it did the trick, peeling the dragon girl off my lap. She recollected herself and looked at the door for a second skeptically, before turning down to me with regret.
I'm sorry, Knives. It sounds like my services are needed elsewhere.
She smiled.
But, don't worry. I will have your wardrobe stocked in a few days. In the meantime, you'll have to settle with hand-me-downs.
I'm not particularly picky. I'd been homeless for months at a time, I said with a warm grin, getting off my seat just as she grabbed her things, including my dirty clothes. I appreciate all the help you're giving me.
I will also have our servants wash your attire. For now, it is the least I could do.
She gave me a kiss on the cheek as she walked past me, then left me with a comment.
We will pick up where we left off, soon.
She winked, closing the door behind her. Well, I was looking forward to it. Not too long after, another knock fell on my door, followed by an awkward ruffling. But before I could even reach the front of my bedroom, a stranger barged right in, the tray of food she was holding nearly tipping off to one side. First impressions were ones to remember. This girl seemed clumsy, but high-spirited and entertaining. I had a funny feeling that she was the one who'd pulled Rhea away from me prematurely. I didn't know how my seamstress didn't catch her on the way out, because if she had, I would have heard an exchange. Did this monster girl bait Rhea out on purpose? She was a cat breed, where her overall appearance looked mostly human like Lucille, but her features resembled that of a cat. From the brown and white fluffy ears on the top of her long caramel hair, to her furry striped tail. Once she caught her footing, her big amber eyes looked up to me, where it didn't take 2 seconds for her to gawk at my broad chest. Eyes are up here, I said, messing with her.
Of course. I wasn't staring at your chest. What kind of a pervert do you take me for?
She stuttered.
But I must admit, Nayla didn't give you enough credit. You're definitely something to look at, and then some. I wouldn't mind using your bulgy biceps as a chew toy.
She shyly confessed behind a blush. I'll take that as a compliment. I smiled.
My name is Maylise. I'm one of the better cooks around here. Don't worry, there's no fur balls in your food. I made sure this time.
This time.
You must be starving after that crazy portal jump. Please, I insist you eat up before bed. It's human-friendly, I promise. Grilled chicken chunks on a stick, marinated with zesty lemon juice, garlic, and fresh herbs. The tomatoes and cucumber side salad is also pretty healthy, too. It was the fastest recipe I could cook up on such short notice. Dig in.
That's kind of you, Maylise.
Please, call me May.
She placed the tray on the round table, the same table where Rhea and I were about to go at it. She took her seat across from the chair she expected me to sit on, that overzealous smile on her face beaming with both innocence and mischief. I could tell she was a fun little handful, but nevertheless, she was an attractive demon girl with hourglass hips, and a fertility complex that was hard to tune out of my head. I took a seat across from her, May leaning in, eager for me to taste her food. My opinion mattered to her, but I was sure when she saw me take that first bite and wolf down the next, she knew how I felt about her cooking.
You like it?
She beamed. I nodded in satisfaction, with her amazing chicken stuffed in my mouth. I continued to eat, but Maylise was making it hard to focus on my food. The more I ate, the harder her nipples got. It also didn't help that she had a thin crop tunic on, making it even harder for me to turn away. And here I was cracking on Ken for being so shameless. I was a hypocrite, jerking my eyes away from her breasts while I finished chewing my food. I cleared my plate, then I noticed the empty glass cup on the side of my fork, thinking that she had maybe forgotten to fetch me some water.
Are you thirsty, Knives?
She sang in a sultry voice, with her elbows perched on the table, and her curled fingers tucked underneath her chin.
I see that you're staring at your cup.
That comment made me look up to her, where I saw that lewd look in her eyes, her tail slowly swinging back and forth behind her. It's all right if you forgot to get me some. My voice dragged as I saw May suddenly striping the straps to her top down, boldly flashing me her fleshy nipples. A pair of D cups bounced over her chest, May cupping them sensually. Her areolas were huge. Huge and spongy.
I thought you'd like it better fresh from the farm.
She took my glass while I continued looking at her dumbfounded. May came with my drink all right, in the jug she was carrying on her chest, squirting me a fresh motherload of milk. Kneading and squeezing. Rubbing and teasing.
There,
she said, dropping the glass back on the table and sliding it over to me. Her milk looked extra creamy, the temptation to take her offer practically drooling off the corner of my lips. I knew I was in the land of sin, but this was one hell of a first night. May lies.
May?
She corrected me, stuffing her breasts back inside her top. Right. I don't think.
It's not charmed or anything.
She interjected. Honestly, I didn't know that was even possible. I cleared my throat, taking the glass closer to my lips. Are you sure?
Does this look like a face who would lie to you?
Do you want me to answer that honestly? She giggled. May was warming up to me already, just like this glass of breast milk. The smell was smooth and soothing, so I went for it. As any thirsty man would. One gulp turned into two, and then I guzzled down that tasty beverage like I'd been in a drought for years. It was good, no. It was better than good. It was fucking amazing. I dropped the empty glass on the table and licked the milk statch off my upper lip, trying not to belch out in satisfaction. As for May, she was staring at me again, but this time she looked like she was amazed that I'd actually tried her self-serve juice. Thanks. It was. I stopped, her smothered snickering making my eyes grow wide. Hey, what's so funny? I asked her, suddenly afraid of what she might have done to me with that incredibly addicting glass of milk.
You drank my breast milk.
I gave her a flat glare. And?
That means that you're my Sarian.
You're what?
My mate. And I'm your Saria. Most importantly, your first, and hopefully only, Saria.
That milk was a trap after all.
Oh, knives.
She purred, leaping on my lap like a nimble cat.
I've never had anyone drink my milk so fast like that. My taste must have really taken you.
So why hasn't anyone else gotten the mate offer?
You're the first man to drink from me. And honestly, the first I'd ever offered. Only babies have gotten exclusive services to the May farm.
Huh, I wonder what makes me so damn special.
Why ask such an obvious question?
She smiled lewdly, then gave me a soft peck on my lips.
Do you want some more, my sexy Sarian?
No thanks. I'm good.
Are you sure?
She asked me, squeezing her breasts together inside her arms like a second-course meal. Yeah, I'm straight, I replied, fighting the annoying blush from creeping on my face.
Don't worry, I'll be the best wife you ever had.
Not to mention, the only one I ever had. Where's a Relo Hell manual when you need one? Well, I might as well just roll with it. There was no harm in having May around. Besides, she was a pretty damn good cook. And, I'd never go thirsty.
And now, it's up to your Saria to teach you a thing or two about the world you are to save your goddess in. Besides, I told Lucy I'd do it.
Do what, exactly? Talk me through some fundamentals of Relo Hell.
Yup. Like the ranks here in Lithuania, your skills, and mana cycling.
Mana cycling. Sounds extensive.
Not really. Let's start with the ranks first.
Well, I do know a little something about the 7 deadly sins. Ria gave me a quick rundown. I know about their abilities, too.
They don't fall into these ranks. They are gods. Besides, the ranks I am about to tell you refer to the ones only in the country of Lithuania. The high alchemists, peacekeepers, warriors, and salvagers, from highest to lowest in that order. You, my sexy blood squire, are considered of warrior rank.
How does that affect my stay here?
It's simply a role you play in Lady Lust's kingdom, and an important one at that. Now, for the fun part. Let me see that enchanted dagger.
I had it sitting on the chair right next to me, so I gave it to my new, mate, where she then proceeded to pull it out of its sheath. She grabbed the hilt, eyeballing it like a new toy. May reached over for my hand, stroking her thumb along my crest.
You have such big hands,
she said with a blush.
Always a good sign.
The kitty demoness tapped the flat of the dagger on my crest, where I noticed a huge transparent screen forming in front of me. I jumped, my immediate reaction causing May to slip off my lap with a comical yelp. What the hell is going on? I asked her, shaken by all of the text. Was this a menu? A stats menu?
Don't worry, Knives. It's okay, it's just your current stats that you're seeing. And it's perfectly normal. All of us have it, triggered in different ways.
She got up and stood across from me.
Like for example, you have to tap your enchanted weapon, your dagger or gun, on your crest to see your stats. And if I want to see my stats, I form a sign with my hands, like this.
May fixed her hands in a fashion that looked like a spearhead with a pair of eyes in the middle, causing her hands to momentarily glow red. And after she did that, her stats came up.
Another good thing about these menus is that you can see what Relo Hell demons are packing. which is important in combat and in leveling up to fight the gods. All you have to do is look over to your target when you have your stats up, and it will shift to their stats. Closing the stats screen works the same as opening it, or it closes automatically after 15 seconds of idle time.
So, even if you hadn't just opened yours, I would have been able to see your stats.
Yup. Here, let me close mine so you can practice.
She did, but I didn't turn to her just yet. I was preoccupied with staring down my own stats, my eyes pointing toward the direction of my king-sized bed. Relo stats. Name, Knives Arlean. Race, human. Class, fighter. Kill system. Rank, warrior. Level, 30, experience, 12,333 30,000. Points to be allocated, 0. Brawn, 100. Agility, 60. Charisma, 20. Willpower, 40. Special skills, locked. Items. Mana, 100. This is new. I was amazed, and even impressed with what this world had to offer. I'm at level 30 already. How is that possible?
Well, Nayla mentioned you were somewhat of an assassin back at home. You could have easily buffed up your stats through the trade. For every level gained, you are rewarded points. Hence, for every level you bump up, you get 4 points outside of your kill system to allocate.
If that's the case, then why are these presets totaling 220 points? I should be at 120, shouldn't I?
That is true, but as our goddess Onessa's blood squire, you are blessed with Lady Lust's kiss, which grants you an extra 100 points. The way your default points are allocated aren't random. It is based on your character, race, and your class.
Fighter class. Guess that was predetermined too from what I did back home. Brawn at 100, agility at 60, charisma at 20, and willpower at 40. Wait, why are my special skills locked?
Huh? Let me see.
May did her hand gesture again and looked my way.
Whoa, that's new.
She scratched her chin.
I've never seen that before.
Do you have special? I cut myself short, noticing her stats popping up in front of me when I turned to her. She had a few special skills on her menu, but what had made me speechless was her level.
No. Don't stare at it,
she yelped, ashamed.
It's embarrassing.
You're also a warrior, I said, seeing her level was even lower than mine, at 25. She looked at me timidly.
Yes, but I am but a wee beginner warrior, fresh from the Army Training Academy, if you could even call it that.
I smiled. That's nothing to be ashamed of, May.
It is when an earthling outlevels you.
That's only because I'm no regular earthling.
Our stronger warriors who had gone into battle were eradicated a while ago. All that is left really are rookies who want to fight for our families and loved ones, and primarily for our goddess.
What you're doing here is brave and honorable, May, no matter the experience.
If I can be honest with you, my Sarian, I am scared of going out there. Most of the time, I patrol an area alone. There are times I'd chicken out, because of what I'd been through, and what I've seen.
Well, this time you'll have me around. She gave me a sweet smile.
I will, because I got first dibs on being part of your team.
Team?
Yup. I asked Lady Lucille first, and I got it. Also helps that I didn't stop bugging her for our partnership. I was keeping her tail hostage.
Hey, were women really lining up to trek the trails of Relo Hell with me? To save Onessa?
You wouldn't believe the number of demonesses I had to elbow to get this luxury.
Is that why you bonded me to you with your milk? No takey backsies. She was speechless. I caught little Miss May's eyes red-handed.
You don't understand. Those women were willing to kill for you.
I snorted.
Besides, you are a fighter, and I am a ranger. I think we go pretty well together. An enchanted shotgun and dagger, a bow, and a pair of catars. All we need is a priestess, so our mana and health could restore quicker during battle.
A priestess? Well, I have to imagine that is a rare treat in a land of demons.
Not even rare, they just don't exist in Relo Hell, even though it is 100% possible. Mana is what is converted from our spiritual energy. We use this as energy and power for offense and defense. You can think of it as a magic system.
Is it available to all demons?
Yes, just as long as their mana source, or mana elixir, appoints them their magic specialty. For instance, I have elemental prowess. Our Lithenian mana source, Essera, granted me this specialty. But I am born a demon of lust, so I cannot go to Pride's mana source and become appointed to my magic. It is sin-specific. With that being said, it's nothing we are born with. It is a gift, where the specialties vary.
What are some of the magic types?
A few are elementalists, burst specialists, blood specialists, illusionists, and hasters, just off the top of my head. As you've seen in your stats, your mana has a bar. If by some reason you decide to use it even after it hits 0, you'll be tapping into your raw spiritual energy, which can be very, very dangerous. Doing so shaves off your life source, thus reducing your years.
Then how do I get it back?
Mana is naturally restored with time, and it is something we depend on for special attacks during battle. You can use items to restore mana, but they are hard to come by, and aren't as reliable as a priest or a priestess. Mana reserve and control are also things that can be practiced through discipline and commitment. A very hard thing to do, though. Mostly reserved for the gods.
Sounds like a priestess is the way to go, then. How do we get one on our team?
We need someone pure of heart to be a healer. She would need to be appointed by our Esra. It is in the sublevels, our dungeon. Do you think that she will be willing to do it?
I raised my brow at her, confused with the she that she was referring to.
Faye.
Hell, I wanted to break out laughing. Because what May was considering was a goddamn joke.
Knives?
May whispered. No, she wouldn't be up for it.
But it's worth asking, isn't it?
Seeing how important it is, I believe so.
My Sarian, you need to convey the importance of her being our priestess. It's the only way.
If you think she'd give a rat's ass about what I have to say, then you're sadly mistaken. Especially if this favor consists of her going out there and risking her life.
But, she has something to gain from this as well. A chance to go back home. We would need to venture to parts of Relo Hell, into other regions. Dangerous ones. And for that, you'll need a great team. An OP team. And what better advantage than to have the greatest class of them all?
She was delusional, and I was, too. For thinking for even a second that Faye would roll with this idea. I was deep in thought, trying to find a way to spin this to her humbly, until my front door swung, Rhea on the other end red with anger.
You were the one behind the door earlier, weren't you? You liar.
May pouted and crossed her arms under her breasts with her chin up.
Your time with Knives was up. You were hogging him all for yourself.
You selfish little arrow-hugging harlot. I bet you gave him your milk too, didn't you?
May Lies tossed Rhea a witty look and grin.
So what if I did? Weren't you planning on doing the same thing?
She snorted.
He wouldn't even like your dragon milk. Probably smells as bad as your flame breath.
That's it.
Rhea growled, pinning her wrists together with her arms stretched out. A small orb of heat started to generate in her open palms, May immediately tucking herself behind me to cover herself from Rhea's upcoming fire attack with a terrorized meow. Luckily for May, she stopped, Rhea sucking her teeth at May's retreat. She knew she wouldn't attack me, and seeing as the plan worked, I readied up to end a full-blown catfight from torching my room. Hey, ease up on the sparring, I ordered them.
I hope you're ready, Knives,
Rhea said as she lowered her offense.
Maylise has a track record of being the clumsiest warrior in all of Lithuania.
May gasped.
That's not true.
That bow and arrow means nothing behind those careless hands. You would have been better off with me. But Lady Lucille's word is final. At least for as long as Maylise can prove that she is useful to you.